Hello friends, welcome back to Value Vintage Cards. This is going to be a relatively short video. I'm going to share a few items coming off a really fun night just hanging out with a bunch of folks. We jumped on, we got to kind of video chat and see each other. I'm not hitting the National, but most of my hobby friends and connections I've made will be there. So it was really fun to kind of just ramp up and see what all they're looking for, what they're planning, what their experience is going to be like, how many days, kind of some strategy of, tickets, early admission, VIP, whatever, kind of choices there are. Really also fun to hear like who's kind of a, lone wolf at a show and who wants to just go off and like hunt and find their thing, and who wants to, maybe be with one person, and who wants to have a whole swarm of friends around them and really kind of just experience it in that way. I don't think there's really a right answer. There's just what makes you most comfortable or most effective. I mean, some folks have very distinct priorities, and others are just gonna walk around and peruse and see what strikes them as being interesting. So just a ton of fun hanging out with just good people. It's folks that I tend to text with and message with on a pretty consistent, if not daily, weekly kind of basis. And so just to get some actual time to chat live is pretty cool. So much appreciated to everyone that got to jump in that. And unfortunately, there's the limit of StreamYard or whatever tool you're using. Some limit on time, some limit on space and people, so we were kind of capped at 6, which was wonderful to have 6 folks find time to jump. But coming out of that, I realized there's some cards I've picked up that I wanted to share. So I'm going to share a few things that I've picked up recently, and I'm going to share a few things from Carl Hubbell. Just going through, I've been definitely all in good fun and jesting, but throwing out ideas to Sammy Thunder as to maybe the next person he can add to his collection, because he's definitely big on the, almost when you say pre-war, you might mean pre-World War One. He's got the Christy Mathewson era, and then it kind of just leaps and gets into your Willie Mays and your Tom Seaver and Nolan Ryan. So I'm like, you got to bridge the gap, man. You got to bridge the gap. So I keep trying to come up with some fun suggestions of people or players that might kind of fit that niche of how he collects. So I'm going to share a few Carl Hubbell things, partly because I also collect Carl Hubbell though. So I really do enjoy Carl Hubbell stuff. So let me flip it around and show you guys a few cards. All right, folks. One of the fun things too, as I'm looking through these, nothing today is in a slab. It's all ungraded as originally intended. So they're in top loaders, and I think everything's on a top loader of some sort. So this one is, and I will say with exhibits, the foreign ones, I don't know, I feel like it's the precursor to the 63 tops, and the floating heads are a little less than favored. Maybe that's where I have a little bit of a lower preference for this type of set. In terms of the format, you do get a much smaller picture of each player, but one of the nice advantages is you do get 4 players. This one has Gus Mancuso, who's the one player that had a little bit less overall playing career success, but you had Bill Terry, 400 hitter, 340 lifetime hitter, I think, Hall of Famer. You got Mel Ott, who was the National League leader in home runs when he retired, so a 500 home run club member. And then you have Carl Hubbell down there. So the foreign ones, you'll find there's like a 29 version, which is very early for Hubbell, and that's like a rookie era Ott. So those can get to be some dollars. And then you've got these that come later. I think 35 and maybe 36 both had these. That's definitely a Stooks kind of question, and I could look it up and get you the right answer, but somewhere in that era. But these are, in terms of, one of the things I like about them is you do get like an actual nice image. So if if you're looking at Hubbell or Ott items, or like Belteri, I like Belteri as well, or the entire item itself is pretty darn cool. So something like that's an option. This thing is, for me, pretty gosh darn good. I'm trying to see. It's 1932 would be your year on that. So early in, it's before you get to the Gaudis and Diamond Stars and all the more well-established and produced and well-known issues. This thing is neat because it's got truly a neat image. That angle is pretty rare to see. You got the shadow there. You got him kind of mid wind-up. Goes through his stats from, played in 36 games in 1931, 14 and 12. And this, I have shown this before, but pretty neat. You get games at home in 1932. It is like postcard format, so I think pretty darn neat. Love that thing. Something different, something a little more unique and off the beaten path. If you go with a more traditional type item, 33 Gaudi gives you this classic pose, which you'll end up seeing in Diamond Stars, and then again in your R314, which will get you the actual image rather than a artistic rendering of. Mine has some back damage to it. That's where I would design back damage to happen, though, because I get told read the whole thing. And then you get a little bit better front for budget buy. So, like that one. Next one is same set, 33 Gaudi. It's definitely got some dirty stuff to it, but the colors are fantastic. The image, so Warsh Cigar would be your target if you like that image. And then you get the actual picture of it. That's on my list. I know Dan picked one up, so I will say I think we both picked up something from that lot that was available. So Hubbell continues to be on the list. I missed that one, but very, very cool item. This one's got a nice clean write-up. I will say with all the colors and things, you can see the creasing on the back, but that's one of the nice things when you look at the front. I mean, I guess it's there, and once you know it's there, you can see it a lot easier, but for me, solid, good colors still. Nothing really like disturbed the colors to that, other than some of the dirt, which it's a 1933, gives it some texture. This one, another classic. So Hubbell's got a lot of classic poses for sure. So the batter up is a neat one. Some of these, if you get like an OPG, you get actual like, printing on the back. This one's not. Oh, actually, somebody added to the back, so actually card number 5, somebody wrote 11 on there, so that's really great of them. Not so much, but fantastic image. A little more serious, you get 39 play ball, which is a fun one. Another great write-up. And these, for my pre-war pusher mood, these things definitely can be well under $100, as long as you don't need it to be extra crispy and super high end. 1940 is the black and white. 41 is your kind of colored in rendition. Kind of neat. You get the little shadowing there. I think that's a great image. And again, 40 and 41s have very much like 39. Pretty fantastic write-ups on the back. Some stats, sometimes little bios or mini stories, kind of things like that. So excellent set. And then 41, Gaudi was still doing things, but you're very limited in who you can get. So I think Hubbell and Ott are the only two Hall of Famers. This is my only one. These come with 4 different color options. So truly rainbow collecting if you want to get into that. Blank backs. A lot of these, I mean, I've seen a couple online that are like 4s. You know, that's really high end for these. A lot of them are going to be A's and 1s. I feel like some people love it, some people don't at all. I'm kind of in between. I appreciate it for what it is, but I don't think it's the best set ever made. I will toss you 4 others that are not Carl Hubbells. You definitely get into some Frank Robinson. I think these were 60, well, early 60s a lot of times. They'll just kind of like broadly label them. I want to say it's a 61-ish McGregor issue. If you're searching for these, baseball advisory staff is what a lot of times you'll see them labeled as. Cool images, though. Stuff you may or may not see somewhere else. And then mine has been, I don't know, Tootie? I'm not sure. And I have the air print because they wrote Cincinnati with 2 T's. So, oops. So whoever is collecting this 60 years ago, hopefully they figured out Cincinnati a little bit better. All right, let's go here. I'm going to go 2 more from what I consider to be more modern because it's from the 50s. These are the 1951. These are the Connie Mack All-Stars. So there is some actual playing days players that are issued as well. They're really scarce. These are somewhat tough. But they're made to have the red should continue up and kind of border out the entire rest of the cards. When you find them popped out like this, I think as long as it's done well, it still presents in a really nice way. It kind of has that, like die cast kind of look to it. I think they're still fantastic like this. Reminds me of some of those where it's like with tab or with redemption. Like, yes, it's not ideal, and you're not going to ever get a number grade on it if you're a grading person. So that'll kind of ruin your motives potentially. But the write-up on the back is made to be completely within like the player's outline. So you're not missing anything there. A lot of times you'll see them taped here. Got a couple, I think, that are like taped either. You can see like the leg is pretty bent. It's pretty creased up there. Those are all typical spots. And then when you have like head and arms kind of floating off, they can tend to get bent up. So definitely be a little extra careful. Go over Cleveland Alexander. I'm going to say that's still really, really neat. And because it's not going to ever grade high, you get a very nice little discount to them. Walter Johnson. Same thing. The big train. Back you get Strikeout King. 34.97. I think that number has changed. Go through the whole write-up. And it's been, probably used back in the day. They popped it out and probably wanted to see how this thing actually worked and looked. So I'm good at that. And the last one is the corruption of Mr. Doug, Joe Wood Collector. He has been mentioning these. He's collecting the Joe Woods. I've got some George Sislers, but when you get into these different offshoots, be it pennants, flags, different things, you end up finding some really fun items. Get the blanket sets from pre-war. But this is considered a BF2. See these things labeled differently, but the images are essentially the exact same as the M101-4 and 5s. So in this case, you're looking at Chief Bender. So it's almost like you get the little like baby version of the card. he named the team, which he wasn't really on the Phillies for a whole lot. We think of him more as an athletics player. But they laid the name out. Kind of fun they do put Chief on there. But yeah, you really are getting an actual image added to this blanket feeling little cloth pennant. So Ferguson Bakery kind of issue, but BF2 is what the set is labeled as. So that's the easy way to search it if you're looking at auction houses or online shopping options. There are some that will have a tag that I don't know if it was originally on all of them or just some of them, but there's some do have like little tags kind of sewn on there. Most, in fact, I think everything I have of this, I have 7, maybe 8 from this set, and all of mine have that removed, so I don't have anything that would be falling into that, but set that up there, just leave it alone. So that's what I got for today. A little bit of Carl Hubbell, a little bit of some other stuff I just haven't shown, and just having some fun and recapping. So I'll try and get this thing released because I'm kind of, like I said, it's a little time bound. Hopefully everybody's getting ready for the National and getting their hit lists and watching out for their friends and seeing what they might be looking for, because it's an awful gosh darn big show. So make sure you can text somebody from across the room and say, head on over here, I found your card, come check this thing out. But yeah, everyone have fun in your preps, safe travels, enjoy, and I'll keep plugging as I'm at home. Catch y'all in the next one.